Hey everyone, welcome back to the Made for the Range YouTube channel. Here is part 2 of my fall 2024 Golftec fit. And we're gonna do something interesting with this one. We're doing a driver fit, but we're doing a driver fit purely based off of forgiveness and dispersion. So I'm not worried about how far the ball goes as a priority. Obviously, we want the ball to carry as far as we can, but we're really just looking for the most forgiving club. I joked with Jared earlier that this is my buddy who wants to play before work at 6:15 in the morning. I need a driver to bring out with me for those 9 holes just to make sure the ball goes that way. That will help. But here again with Jared, we just finished up the iron fitting, and we're gonna jump into this. You just said something really interesting to me about driver stats and scoring stats. Can you talk about that a little bit again so that everybody here can hear?
Yeah, so the number one, I would say like statistic or data point for lower scoring is distance off the tee by far.
Yeah.
So it's not like how many putts do you have, how close do you get to the green in regulation, your up and down scrambling percentage, it's how far can you hit it off the tee.
Yeah, I always have a joke with a couple of my friends. It's like, I'm a very stern, a lot of players, putting is not your problem. I think people get over dramatic about putting being an issue. And everybody's like, putt for dough, drive for show. And I'm like, yeah, but your show sucks.
Yeah.
Like, but nobody wants to watch your show. Yeah. So you need to fix that before you worry about the dough part. And then Golftec, you guys also track a really cool stat, which gets rid of any like fairways or whatever. It's terrible tee shots.
Right.
So can you describe to the audience what a terrible tee shot is in terms of Golftec stat performance?
Yeah, so terrible tee shots, any shot off the tee, if you can't advance your next shot over 100 yards, then you would mark it as a terrible tee shot. So if you hit it out of bounds, obviously can't advance the next one because you're going to get a penalty stroke on that one. But if you're behind a tree just off the fairway, that would still be a terrible tee shot because you can't get it advanced more than 100 yards. So
yeah, I love that way of stat tracking because to me, the whole fairways thing is like, okay, well, if you're an inch into the rough, you missed the fairway.
Right, yeah.
But did you have a bad drive? No, right? And it's one of those things where I think that's really confidence inspiring. And obviously the Golftec story is, yes, like fittings are part of it, but it's more about the coaching aspect and the journey that a student takes through, some people stay for years and years and years. So it's a really cool part of it. We are going to hit the Ping, this is the 10K, yes? Yeah, the Max 10K, the TaylorMade Qi10 MAX, and the Mizuno ST MAX, all three of which are, first off, maxes, and then secondly, have incredibly high MOI points. Mizuno has a little bit of a beef with the 10K thing, which I love, but the TaylorMade and the Ping both boast that 10K kind of max forgiveness, but just FYI, that's up and down and laterally across the face. So technically, they're just making it work, basically.
Horizontal, vertical, add them together.
Yeah, and then magically you get the number.
Exactly.
So we're gonna start off with the Ping here. Oh, it's a great start.
Yeah, I like that launch.
All right, right at 260. No problems there. Again, for everybody, I want you to be very cognizant of, I'm not gonna call this a different swing than what I usually do, but I'm like, none of these swings am I just gonna absolutely go after. That's not the point of this driver build. The point is to see legitimately when I have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and not go to the range, which one will get me down the first fairway.
Like this is your fairway finder.
Yes, yeah, this is my fairway finder, extremely cold, basically.
Right out of the trunk.
There we go.
Yep. One more. Nice. Yep.
Oh, hit it. Oh. All 4 of those would have hit the first fairway at my home course, which is fantastic.
Yep. Really good. Yeah, we'll pay attention more to the offline in our TechFit software here just to see, how tight we can get those dispersions here.
Yeah, I mean, we're expecting, for me, I think we're expecting all of these to kind of spin.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like that's, obviously we'll keep it manageable, but I don't like making this, you know, a low spin bomber is not the point of this. So just interested to see. I mean, that was pretty tight. I'll be interested to see what the other two are going to do now.
Yep. So if we wanted to like get some spin down, we can do, you know, certain things with the shaft or, or the loft and, you know, kind of play with that, but we're not really trying to get the most distance out of it. We're trying to see how tight we can get these shots.
Yeah, and I think between the three of these two, whichever one we end up picking, maybe what we do is at the end, we take that driver and try to make that one go as much as we can.
Okay.
How about that? All right, which one do you want me in next?
Cool. Let's go Qi10 MAX.
Oh, something I didn't say about that driver, it's gigantic.
They're all gigantic.
Huge. This one is spaceship. UFO. So if you guys follow me, you know that I actually played the Qi10 MAX, this driver, for the better part of the beginning of this year, actually, because until I got my Golftec lessons, I had zero faith in my ability to hit the driver. Yeah, like zero forgiveness.
Which is, forgiveness. A lot of people need that. So.
Yeah, but I had zero faith, basically, to hit my driver. I have since moved away from it, thankfully, with confidence, but I do have a soft spot for this head for sure, even though, man, I forgot how big that thing is. All right. That was so far off the bottom of the face.
Yeah, I remember when this one came out and starting to hit it, and same thing, I was just like, even when you feel like you miss, it's still in the fairway. You know what I mean?
Was, the fact that stayed on the planet was fantastic. Yeah. And actually,
270, less than 30 yards off 28.9.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the left rough there. Maybe.
And 3,300 spin off the bottom of the face.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, you can actually kind of see it. There it is.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, I hit half the ball.
You're a little heel and a little low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. There we go.
Nice.
It's probably a more accurate comparison.
Yep.
That's a decent drive for me with my driver.
Right.
Look at that spin. I mean, all three of those were within 250 of each other.
Yep.
That to me is actually kind of nuts. The retention and spin. So for you guys that don't know, spin retention is something that makes a driver more forgiving because variability in spin leads to a lot of different shot shapes, essentially. And when you try to drop spin too much, that ball's going to fall to the sky. If you spin it too much and you're playing in the wind for something, that ball is going to rise and then it's just going to drop straight down. So spin variability is something I think is a little underlooked at, but is huge. Regardless of what your spin number is, getting that spin number to be consistent is very, very helpful in ball flight and also predictability, right? So all three of those were relatively in the same zone when we talk about vertical dispersion. Obviously, I pulled the crap out of the first two out of the heel, but the fact that they retained that spin and that much ball speed is really, really cool.
Yeah, probably 300 at most RPMs of backspin difference between.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good.
You need a couple more on that one?
Yeah, at least one more.
All right. One more comparable, not yank heel. That felt really good. A little open. Felt better. Yeah. I haven't loved the sound of either one of these.
Yeah.
I will say that. That's I forgot what I forgot what this sounded like compared to what I've been playing.
Yeah, 272. Launch 13, 14. You had one low one that we could probably kick out of there. That was that kind of low.
Yeah,
these low heel.
Yeah, these low heel ones. Yeah.
But I think these are probably more what we're looking at here.
Sure.
These three, just comparison here. Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, and then lastly we have.
We're going Mizuno here, ST MAX.
which if you guys look at TechFit right now, is half the price.
It is nice.
That's kind of cool.
Always nice.
Yeah. Oh, it looks so much better too.
Let's see.
It's still big, but manageably big compared to the other two. I actually think that Qi10, I think, was the one that looked the biggest so far.
Whew.
Whoa, that sound.
Yeah, it did. Holy moly.
Jeez.
That was like ringing in my ears.
It was like that was a huge crack. Man, that ball just went sky high, huh? That was a very controlled little fade, though. I like that. Holy, peak height.
Launch like crazy.
Wow.
17. Crazy how high
Just
that one goes.
wee, yeah.
I mean, that thing is getting out there, though.
Look at that, though, yeah.
Well, you could dial that thing in.
This could be real interesting here.
Yep.
That sound is
It is
crazy.
very tingy, right? Like,
it's just loud. Now, offline-wise,
yep, you're getting a little bit
not
more
my favorite, but
miss.
consistency-wise,
Yeah,
between those three shots, very good.
yeah. Do one more with that one.
Look, 18 and a half. This might be one where we actually do need to throw in a...
Try to go a little bit
Yeah.
heavier and stiffer.
Look at that.
I mean, I kind of like it.
I do too.
If we can control the launch a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, if we can keep it
Yeah.
on the right, like, what is kind of nice is other than the two that I yanked with the TaylorMade, everything's kind of giving me that shape that I look for.
Yeah.
But holy consistency too. One that got a little wipey with this one, but that wasn't that bad. Everything's right around the same ball speed. I think, I don't know, what do you think? It was either between this and the Ping for sure.
I think the very first swing with that one, it was the one you probably just left open a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of spun it a little bit more right and kicked it out to the right a little bit more. But the other three were pretty interesting. Like, I mean, if you get rid of this one. Like,
Yeah. That's a tight group.
Yeah, those are pretty good there.
All right.
154.1 ball speed.
So the Ping is just a tad bit slower. I mean, margin of error slower. That's interesting. The Ping was the lowest spin. Yeah, I know it's not by much, but that's interesting. The spin variability, though, like we said, it was on that Mizuno, was really tight.
Yep.
Carry is all, I mean, that's, yeah, just the lower spin basically off the Ping got us a little bit more roll.
What jumps out to me, like the Mizuno, I could, like, as a fitter, I could say, okay, I can dial this in to get more out of it for sure.
Yeah.
With that, you know, the max head.
Yeah.
So, like, can we get this launch down? Can we get the spin down?
Yeah. I don't remember the last time I saw a 17-degree average in a bay. Yeah. Not for me, at least. Yeah.
Pretty good.
All right. Well, how about we do that then? Let's stick with the Mizuno ST MAX.
Yeah.
And let's try to make this go far now.
Yeah.
Or farther.
Or at least get it more comparable to some of these numbers a little bit more. And then let's see what happens to the ball speed.
Perfect. All right.
And we don't want to lose, obviously, our dispersion. Like
yeah, the dispersion was crazy. Yeah. Okay. So real quick, walk the viewer through the change that we made here for this one.
Yep, so we went with the Hazardous RDX Green, which is a little lower trajectory, a little lower spin, and a little heavier weight on it too. So a little bit of firmer flex. We're trying to bring that launch angle down so that thing doesn't go so high. See if we can get a little more distance out of it and still keep that nice tight dispersion on it. Yeah,
we were seeing that the Ping definitely got a little bit of help off that Kylie White profile for sure. I liked this one the most, and we saw the most consistency out of it. So I'll be really interested to see if we can kind of match up the launch of that Ping to the consistency with this head. I think we've actually found something that I wasn't necessarily looking for, but forgiving and ball go far would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, it was hammered.
Look at that. I mean, right off the bat, just bang.
Exact same flight. Look at that.
Yep, 2,900 now, 15 launch.
Still at 15 is kind of nuts, though.
Yeah, still pretty high.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
But lower than anything else that we've hit so far with that. Like we were like 16.5 or so.
Yeah, we had the average was what, 17, and the high was what was it? Like 18 and a half, something like that. Yeah, like it was up there.
Yeah. Yep.
Even that, I mean, it's definitely getting up there, but you can tell, launch-wise, you can tell that that spin's coming down nicely. Should give us a little bit more rollout. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's one that we would consider spinny, and it's still the bottom end of what it was before.
Yep. That's like 3,100 compared to 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Still at 16. That's crazy. That's a heck of a profile change to still be that high. Just dropping them right on top of each other. Got a lot out of that.
I mean, you know exactly what that's going to do. There you go.
Yep. Spin came down, launch came down.
13, 283.
All right.
Yep. So now we're getting what we were looking for, right? Out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel confident. Like, we're not, the ball speed hasn't, I mean, it went up, what, 2 miles an hour? 154 to 156, just slightly lower launch, which is great to see. I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm not trying to put too much into these swings. So that is, I mean, it looks great. Those yellow dots are on top of each other.
Exactly.
Well, there's 2 of them actually on top of each other.
Yep, right here.
That's very cool to see. Is there, should we do one last hosel adjustment? Maybe
Try to
see
go
if we can get it even
down
a little bit further down there?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do that. Let me grab a wrench. So we just went 1. Just do the first notch down. See if we get a little lower.
Yeah, for this purpose, I don't need to be throwing like a super low trajectory bullet out there. Like we said in the beginning, I still want it to go up. Up and straightish. All right. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Right back on top of the other dots.
Yep. That brings the descent angle down a little bit so you get a little more roll. So now you're at the 287 on that one total.
Yeah, and I didn't even catch it. I mean, we're only at 153 there.
Yep.
And we still got more out of it than any other.
Backspin on
that is awesome. So hypothetically, just a little bit high on the face, maybe?
Yeah.
No chance in feeling a difference on
But it
this
launched
thing.
at 14.9.
Yeah.
Which is still pretty low compared to where we were.
Compared to where we were, yeah. All right, well, I think we're pretty solid here. Just for the fun of it, let's try to crank one and see just how much forgiveness we have here.
Look at that.
Jeez.
$2,800, huh?
Look at that spin control.
That's crazy.
Got it all the way back up to 17.
Launch,
Not surprising. Me hitting a bomb is trying to hit it higher.
Kind of
so
launch
that,
it high, yeah.
Yeah. Still 155 ball.
Yep.
Like even trying to go after it, it's so controlled. Because that was I'm not going to say out of control, but that was near my edge of like, I don't know where this is actually going to go. And that was the straightest ball I've hit all day.
Right.
Super cool. Awesome. Well, that was fun. I think that result was a little bit different than I think either one of us were expecting when we picked what we were going to do for this. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So walk us through the tech fit, because there is one really fun. This is kind of what we talked about in the iron fit, where try not to get hung up on the gauges, but you know, we do want to pay a little bit of attention to them. So walk us through what we saw in tech fit, and then our final decision there in the ST 230 Max that we've got here from Mizuno.
Yep. So I mean, obviously we know that we're trying to get a tighter dispersion. We were picking some shafts that we're kind of swing a little bit smoother with.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a little higher spin numbers than what we would normally try to get. So I would try to get the spin a little bit more down than what it is, but You know, with that being said, like if we look at launch angle, I mean, I think we were, you know, pretty much hit the nail on the head with all these, with the Ping launch angle. This is where you see that descent angle starts to get in that little bit of a red category.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why we went with the ST MAX there, because we felt like the dispersion was tightest out of all of them, like super tight.
Yeah.
And then, you know, could we get a little bit more out of it because it was spinning more than everything else? And we did exactly what we were trying to do out of those.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the offline there, the Mizuno is 10 yards.
Yep, 10.6.
Like, even, and that was with all the shots. We have more shots in there than any of the other ones. Like, that include, I bet you if we get rid of the one that was the super wipe, like, so that one was
20 yards off.
Yeah, that was way off. So it's less than 10 yards essentially.
7.6 if I take that one away.
Even at my home course where everything is super tight, tree lined, I'm fine.
Oh yeah.
And I have a lot of confidence in myself to produce 155 ball speed pretty much in any given moment. So that's nice to know that, like, that truly is a really good characteristic of, okay, I show up and play with my buddy for 9 holes at 6 o'clock in the morning. I can still get 275, 280 even now out of the final combo that we did here. So we've got Mizuno ST MAX, 9.5 degree head, 1 quick lower. Yep. And a hazardous RDX Smoke Green 65 gram X Flex is our final combination here. Yep. Awesome, man. Nice. Well, thank you again for agreeing to be on video. Yeah, it's always very helpful. But yeah, this is awesome. And then you guys can look at the final part of this. This is gonna be another one where I do think we are gonna go ahead and we're gonna send an order through for this one. And you know, we'll do the full process that a Golftec student would. We'll do it at the same time, probably just one video there with the iron pickup and the driver at the same time. So Jared, I'll be back to see you soon, hopefully.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, man.
No problem.